Picture this. May 1903. A lawyer walks up the courthouse steps in Jackson, Kentucky. It's a Tuesday morning. Bright sunshine. The kind of day where nothing terrible should happen. But in Breathitt County, terrible things happened all the time. Before he reaches the door, gunfire erupts. The lawyer, James Markham, collapses on the steps. Dead, right where justice was supposed to happen. The shooter? Never caught. The witnesses? Suddenly couldn't remember a thing. The county judge? Nowhere to be found. This wasn't an isolated incident. This was Tuesday in Bloody Breathitt. By the time the guns finally went quiet, over 100 people were dead. In a county of barely 1,000 souls, that's 1 in 10. Imagine that math in your town. Today, I'm taking you inside the most violent county in American history, a place where elections were settled with bullets, where the courthouse became an execution ground, and where the law died long before the people did. Let me set the scene for you. Early 1900s, Breathitt County, Kentucky, deep in Appalachian coal country. This isn't the Kentucky of horse farms and mint juleps. This is a place where survival meant coal, timber, and controlling the county government. Because whoever controlled the courthouse controlled everything. The contracts, the taxes, the sheriff's office, the courts. And in 1901, that man was James Hargis. Democrat, county judge, and by all accounts, a man who understood that power in these hills came from one thing: fear. His right hand, Sheriff Ed Callahan. The two of them ran Breathitt County like their own personal kingdom. You were either with them or you were in danger. But not everyone bowed down. James Markham, remember him from the courthouse steps, was a Republican lawyer who refused to play along. He called out Hargis publicly. He challenged the rigged elections. He represented people Hargis wanted silenced. In most places, this would mean a nasty campaign season. In Breathitt County, it meant you were choosing your casket. The tension had been building for months. Arguments in the street, threats at the saloon. And then one night in 1902, it exploded. A bar in Jackson. Ben Hargis, the judge's younger brother, gets into it with Tom Cockrell, whose family was aligned with Markham. Words turn to shoves, shoves turn to gunfire. When the smoke clears, Ben Hargis is dying on the floor. His last words, witnesses swear to this, were, "Don't seek revenge." But this is Breathitt County. Revenge wasn't optional. It was inevitable. What happened next was a systematic purge. Dr. Cox, a friend of the Cockrell family, gets called to his office late one night. "Emergency patient," they said. He walks out into the dark street. Gunshots. Dead before he hits the ground. No arrest. Town Marshal James Cockrell, doing his actual job, trying to keep the peace, gets ambushed in broad daylight. Same street where Dr. Cox died. No arrest. Witnesses? Suddenly, everyone in Jackson developed amnesia. Trials moved to other counties because no one trusted the local courts. Juries stacked with Hargis loyalists or too terrified to convict. By 1903, 30 people were dead. And that's just the confirmed count. Then came the moment that made national headlines. May 1903. James Markham, the lawyer who started all this by refusing to back down, walks up the courthouse steps. You know what happens next. The killing was so brazen, so public, that newspapers across America started paying attention. The New York Times ran the story. The Louisville Courier-Journal called it a reign of terror. Breathitt County earned a new name: Bloody Breathitt. And the violence didn't stop. Not even close. Here's the twist you don't see coming. 5 years after Markham's murder, James Hargis, the man who orchestrated all this, is at home. Gets into an argument with his own son, Beach Hargis. Father and son. A dispute over something mundane, probably money, maybe land. Beach pulls out a revolver. 5 shots. James Hargis, the most powerful man in Breathitt County, dies on his own floor, killed by his own bloodline. The irony is almost Shakespearean. By then, the estimated death toll from the feuds had crossed 100. 100 lives in a county that could barely fill a high school gymnasium. The violence slowly died down after that, not because people forgave each other, but because there was barely anyone left to kill. Fast forward to today. Jackson, Kentucky. Population just over 2,000. The courthouse still stands, the same courthouse where Markham died. The streets are quiet now, but it's not the peaceful kind of quiet. It's the quiet of a place that's been hollowed out. Storefronts with "for lease" signs that never come down. Cars parked in driveways, covered in rust and leaves that haven't moved in years. Houses with sagging porches and broken windows. The coal mines that once gave this place a future, closed. The jobs, gone. The young people, moved to Lexington, Louisville, anywhere with opportunity. Breathitt County today has one of the lowest median household incomes in Kentucky. Poverty is common. Hope is not. This is the region that inspired books like Hillbilly Elegy, J.D. Vance, now Vice President-elect. His mother was born right here in Jackson. His family's story of addiction and hardship, that's the story of this place. Some see Vance as a voice for forgotten communities. Others see him as someone who reduced Appalachia's pain to a political talking point. But here's what's not up for debate. Jackson endures. The old feuds might be buried in the cemetery on the hill, but the fight for survival, that's still happening. It's just quieter now, less dramatic, and in some ways, harder to win. So next time someone mentions Kentucky, and your mind goes to bourbon and horse races, remember this. There are places in America where history isn't a chapter in a textbook. It's in the courthouse steps. It's in the abandoned storefronts. It's in the families who stayed when everyone else left. Bloody Breathitt isn't just a story about violence. It's a story about what happens when institutions fail, when power matters more than law, when survival becomes a generation-long struggle. These hills remember, and so should we. If you want more stories from America's forgotten places, the towns that don't make headlines but should subscribe and hit the bell, because every place has a history, most just haven't had anyone willing to tell it.